Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the original walk-ons, Burbank at Nicholson. Welcome to the Thursday edition Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Mike Delicano is with us today. Max Gotro is with us today.
Alex Trebek.
Twain Colucci is with us today. Randy McKay today had to push from yesterday. That's with our NFL previews concerning. And what does Max have a game show? Much demand for the week, Jimmy?
It's kind of a mystery to me. I asked him when he walked in, and he's kind of a little bit vague about it. So
if I would have known he didn't have one, I probably wouldn't have come.
I'm a little bit upset as well.
The mystery question. You got to go in the
rave
isolation
reviews.
booth.
It was so good last week.
I'll tell you this, it was memorable.
Yeah.
We'll remember it.
He put a lot of effort into it.
That's the criteria.
We're on the tail end, but trust me, next summer, the game show will have a weekly appearance.
Okay.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Or we could talk about, court cases, in college football again.
Funny you should mention court cases.
Oh, not again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how much? Can the season get here quick enough?
I don't know if we got a game show, but the People's Court could have a segment on this thing.
How about Aaron Nola last night, huh? Best appearance of the season. Record-long Phillies winning streak. So I'd rather talk about games than court cases, but,
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to talk about this for a second and see what –
another one.
I'm delighted for Aaron Nola, but, I'm sorry.
I know. It just bores me.
I understand.
I just like the games.
And
turn on the games on the phone, you never know anything was going on.
Okay, but everybody else does know something's going on, and we've got a football season to start in a couple of weeks. So
it's just me.
I know. I understand.
Yeah.
There were 16 players that put out 30 athletes in all, 16 football players that were in a Louisiana court and got a restraining order against the NCAA to return to play for this season. This includes players that are in NFL camps right now. There's some basketball players in there as well. There's even one soccer player that was a part of this lawsuit. Of course, they won. The NCAA is the Washington Generals of this this stuff. Yeah, they won, and so they have the opportunity to come back to school. This is not anything that didn't happen before in Colorado. It's just now it's here, and that's why we're going to pay a little bit of attention to it. In the meantime, the NCAA is still threatening to punish ghost transfers is the term that they're talking, which is players that the NCAA considers ineligible. We're talking about a class of 22, but that the court has allowed to come back and play again. So who does this affect? Well, it could affect Jack Pyburn, who is in Tampa Bay's camp. In fact, he had a couple of sacks in the first game, who was a starter for LSU a season ago along the defensive line. That's a possibility. They've got to pay their money back to the team they got. I don't know if Jack Pyburn is interested in continuing to pursue making Tampa's practice squad, or coming back here. Also interesting in this case is that there were 3 Ole Miss players that put their name into this lawsuit in Louisiana. Coincidence? Probably not. One of them was a defensive lineman named Xavier Harris, who was in Saints camp as recently as 3 weeks ago. They cut him. Word was he wasn't in the best of shape. He also had some disparaging comments for Kiffin on his way out of Oxford last playoff season. There's a safety named Wyatt Williams, and I think the most interesting player in this whole deal is the tight end from Ole Miss last year, whose name is Daquan Wright. Wright had 635 yards worth of catches and 5 touchdowns last year. He caught 39 balls.
He's a real big guy that caught that pass against LSU, I think, on 4th down.
He is
big guy.
He's
remember that play?
6'4", 250.
No, I think a little.
Pretty big.
No, he was bigger than that.
Okay, and you're thinking about somebody else. LSU's tight end room is thick, but it's not overly experienced. And, of course, we're talking about Trey'Dez Green up at the top of that thing, who's not really a tight end. So Malachi Thomas from Pitt is a huge receiving threat. Zach Grace, who was brought over from Oregon, is, I would say, an H-back, if we want to go back to that term, more than a true tight end. And then the other two players are freshmen. If you could plug him in, Wright was not drafted. He is in Cleveland camp, but he's not listed among the first 4 tight ends right now. Word is he's having a decent camp, might end up on the practice squad, or may even make the team. Who knows? But right now he's not listed in the top 4. If you could theoretically plug a guy like that in as more of a true tight end, somebody who obviously knows Lane Kiffin's system, I would think that would be something that would be very intriguing to them. Never having dealt with this before, Mike. A guy in an NFL camp who's got to decide whether or not he wants to go back to school. These decisions used to happen in January, but now we're 3 weeks deep into August, and they're like, should I stay or should I go? I don't know how all this turns out, but this could be one or two guys who would come in and actually play.
We talked about crazy things before, but let's translate this to real life, Charlie. Jack Pyburn is in Tampa Bay's camp. He's getting to work out against, I guess he goes against Tristan Wirfs probably how do you pronounce his name?
Wirfs, yeah.
Every day in practice.
Right.
He's working out with an all-pro tackle in the NFL, and realistically he could be playing at LSU in 3 weeks. How bizarre is that? You're getting all this great work, and then you get to go to college. Hell, that might be something teams can start doing in the future. Say you're going pro, go get this good work. Come on back with us later on.
I think this is a 1-year deal with the 5 for 5. But no, you may
be sarcastic. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you might not be. Who knows? I would have never envisioned that we'd be talking about this ever. And that guy that was working against Tristan Wirfs last week in practice, in 2 weeks might be working against an 18-year-old. Okay, well, there's a little bit of difference in competition there. And, of course, you're taking a spot away from somebody who would be playing, who's younger. Whatever snaps you get, those would have gone to somebody that's on the team. So I'm going to reiterate what I said yesterday, and I've said a bunch of times in regards mostly to basketball, but in regards to this now too. I don't like the rule. I don't think that this should be something that we're entertaining. I don't think that this should be something that's legal. But I don't get to make the rules. And as long as somebody else is making the rules, I want this school to play by the same rules as everybody else. Because nobody else
conference?
What's that?
How about this conference?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I mean, Sankey was kind of insinuating that we might not want to. Please,
and Sankey definitely doesn't want this. He sent out his own warning a couple of weeks ago. So you get your lawyers involved and say, hey, listen, is this worth the risk? Because they're threatening penalties that would have your coach suspended for half a season, which is kind of a big deal. But there's never been any teeth to these things before. I mean, we did, a year and a half over Michigan, and they gave them a slap on the wrist. They penalized the coach that left town. So how much teeth does the NCAA have?
It was Daquan Wright last year. It was 4th and 3 from the LSU 35 with just over a minute and a half to go. I mean, LSU, it's a 5-point game. LSU gets the ball, they can win. And he's listed as 6'4", 250?
6'4", 250.
I got the over.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But, it was him that caught the 20-yard pass to basically end the game. They went to the knee after that.
Pyburn would be a nice,
Sure.
depth piece. They've got young players at that position that they really like, but they lost Relaford in the spring. He could essentially slide into that spot. But Wright is the more intriguing prospect to me because he is a ready-made, finished product at tight end, and they don't really have one of those. They've got a really good receiving tight end, and they've got a really good blocking tight end. This guy kind of did both, and he knows Kiffin's system. So
Charlie, don't just gloss over Pyburn. I mean, and adding a good pass rusher.
No. I'm not turning him away. For sure.
You want that rotation, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana certainly got that's a big boost for them.
What if Tampa Bay wants to keep him?
This is just like the basketball, and Luis, who has his day in court on Monday, huh, Charlie? So why would he lose?
Yeah,
exactly. And
so I mean, he played the preseason.
And for Pyburn, and I think for Daquan Wright as well, practice squad's a lot more realistic, okay, for their rookie year
Probably.
projections. So you're probably not going to play short of a rash of injuries or drastic improvement. So you go back and play, and not for nothing, but probably make more here.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money's left in the kitty, but there's got to be something left. And so anyway, I'm tired of talking about court cases too, Jimmy, but this is one that could put one or two significant players on the LSU roster between now and the
what's
opener.
the strategy for listing Tredez as a tight end?
I think because when he was recruited out of high school, they used to call him a tight end, and they just kind of kept doing it.
We never played tight end in high school.
I know. I
He
know.
played
I'm
wide
with
receiver
you.
at East Feliciana and
Zachary. Yeah, I know you.
Never listed as a tight end. Never played tight end.
I mean,
what's his agent say about if he's listed as a tight end as a prospect in the draft?
His agent shouldn't care in college, but in the pros he should.
Yeah.
I mean, it cost Jimmy Graham a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Sure did.
Yeah.
And they proved that was one of the most bizarre rules.
Yeah,
they proved that he split out 2/3 of the time.
Guess what? Guess what? If Jimmy Graham was 2/3 of the time, I'll take the over that Tredez is going to line up more than 67% of the time.
I mean,
at wide receiver.
They went to the arbiter and said twice as many times he lined up outside as he did on the inside. Talking about Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
And they still ruled against
But Charlie, he had his hand on the ground and blocked probably the other 33%.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Tredez ain't putting his hand on the ground and blocking.
Chris Olave's not lining up, putting his hand on the ground and blocking. You see what I'm saying? He was doing it some. So he was doing it some. So I mean, but I'm with Jimmy. I don't think Tredez does that near as much as Jimmy Graham did.
No.
And I don't have a good answer to your question, Jimmy. I don't know what.
But this is it's kind of they're saying it, whether it's Kiffin, whether it's the LSU Sports Information, whatever it is. Pay attention to what people do, and are they looking to bring in this true tight end? Oh, wait! On paper, we have an All-American tight end. What's the need? Well, it's obvious he's not a tight end.
Yeah. And look, it's not like Green missed a little time last year. It's not like he can't get hurt. If you gave me my choice of all of the kids in this suit, I would take Wright before I take Pyburn.
I will tell you this, another thing. He will get hurt a lot more playing tight end if he did.
Well, yeah, he gets a lot more contact.
Yeah.
You would think so.
For a guy that's not,
6'7".
His physicality for a wide receiver is very high. His physicality as a tight end is not very good.
All right, Jimmy, barring any breaking news, I'm done with the legal portion of today's show.
Why? It's game shows and legal court cases, huh?
Hey, listen, there's football.
I know,
in our
Charlie.
future.
It's obvious. It's newsy.
And I'm weary
but some
of
of
it,
the news,
and I'm weary of it
some
too,
of the
but-
newsy stuff, I just. Man,
I didn't fool too much with the Colorado case. This involves LSU kids, potentially LSU kids, and it's a Louisiana court. So
well, everybody's going to get a player or two, right? It seems like, right?
I
Doesn't
don't.
it seem across the country? I mean, Indiana's getting a big one. I mean, Ole Miss going to get a couple. I mean, LSU's getting one. I mean,
I don't know
one
if
or two.
everybody's going to get, but some of them are.
I mean, the people that are trying.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the other thing. These kids can go in the transfer portal. Kiffin kind of spoke up on their behalf. Like, look, their situation from last year with their previous team is obviously talking about his guys. Their coaching staff is gone.
My intrigue for the whole subject, because it's state by state, it's 100%. I mean, it's 100%. The kid, what are we going to make this new rule? But it's going into place. You can't accept this class. So I mean, it's 100%. Why is Sankey? What is the motivation for him for wanting to warn and send a little warning to his participating coaches to put them at a competitive disadvantage? It just doesn't. I don't get it. I
get the sentiment. They are sick of the court.
You got 1 year of this.
I know.
All the crap that they've dealt with, you can't tell. No, everybody gets 5 for 5.
Yeah, I would have given up the ghost on the class of 22 in a heartbeat. I just said, look, however many kids this is, just give it to them and let's move on. It's like they handed out the COVID years without even asking for waivers. They just handed them out. I think I would do that too. You changed a major rule, a 100-year rule no, not a 100-year rule, going back to the freshmen in the 70s. So a 50-year rule. You changed a 50-year rule, and it affects adversely 1% of what may play in
Yeah.
college athletics. Just let it go. I mean, my goodness, how much more embarrassed could you be? You got kids playing in their 7th and 8th
Right.
years in college for their 5th or 6th school. Okay, just add this to the list and move on. But they decided not to do that.
We're live over here at the original Walk-Ons on Burbank and getting ready for the college football season. And, Tim Murray was asking me about, to come up when he comes down on game day where he could do a show. He's man, right here, man. It's walking distance to Tiger Stadium. It's a great meeting place for, people coming in because different driving it on game day, it's not all, you don't know exactly what time you're going to show up depending on the traffic. So it's always a great meeting place. You get some great food, great service, great libations and all the TVs. And, we had a nice crowd over here this past weekend as well because the opening full week of NFL preseason. More of the starters should play this week starting tonight. And, a lot of the games can be picked up on the ESPN streaming app. So they have access to a lot of them. We do have that over here at Walk-Ons. And once a month, we're going to be here for Football Sunday. Of course, the NFL Sunday ticket as well. So many fans that come in from out of town, they usually leave after lunch. They come over here to lunch, maybe hang out for a little bit. We'll watch it. So we'll be at Bally's a couple of Sundays a month for Football Sunday. And we'll be here once a month, home of the NFL Sunday ticket at the original Walk-Ons on Burbank.
Live at Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business in 2026. Support our Louisiana farmers and go to SupremeRice.com. We ran across an interesting prop this morning. Jimmy, anxious to see what you, Mike, had to say about this. This is a prop on regular season passing yards in the Southeastern Conference.
Oh, in the Southeastern Conference.
In the Southeastern Conference. And, of course, it's a pretty heavy name list. Arch Manning, Trinidad Chambliss, Gunnar Stockton, Sam Levitt, Lenora Sellers. I mean, John Mateer. There's no shortage of, name players in this. Jimmy, I know you know the answer to this because you saw the same number I did, but I'll ask both of y'all, did it surprise you that Sam Levitt is the favorite, a substantial favorite, to lead the Southeastern Conference in passing yards?
Kind of a surprise. Not a shock, obviously. But you would just think with Trinidad already knowing the system, Arch Manning already knowing the system.
Well, Trinidad knows the old system. I don't know how much
they're
they're
not
changing.
gonna,
I wouldn't change much either, but the same guy's not calling the plays.
They're not going to change that. They're not going to change that system. They're going to try to ride it as much as they can. It'll eventually change as more time goes on. But, a little bit of a surprise, but not a shock.
He's plus 300. Arch Manning is plus 550 as a second choice. Jimmy, they've got both of the Alabama quarterbacks as the co-third choice. You think that Keelan Russell is going to win that job?
Absolutely.
Okay. For the opener, or you think?
Yeah.
Okay. They got him and Austin Mack both at plus 600. Chambliss seems like a deal here at plus 750 is the fifth choice in this, and Gunnar Stockton is the sixth choice. So here's what Ole Miss did, quarterbacks did under Lane Kiffin. Last year, Chambliss led the conference in passing. The year before that, Jackson Dart led the league in passing. The year before that, Dart was third. In 22, Jackson Dart was sixth. He played in every game, but he had a rough year. That was his first year as a full-time starter. In 21, Matt Corral was third, and in 20, Matt Corral was third. One of those years was the Bryce Young Heisman year, and both of those years, Mike Leach was still running the air raid at Mississippi State, which kind of skews the numbers a little bit. So he has had guys that have been right up near the top in the last two seasons. They've been right at the top of the Southeastern Conference in passing yards. Sam Levitt, in his one full season at Arizona State, the year that they were in the playoffs, threw for 2,885 yards. That was ninth in the Big 12.
Well, this is more year. Of a – this is, Scatterboo was such a big part of
Correct.
that team I mean, he was their number one, weapon, and they rode him as they should have. The Kiffin's, it's funny. Kiffin's quarterbacks have always put up numbers, but you got a couple of multi-year starters in there that you mentioned, and their second year was more productive than their first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you got the million-dollar question. Is it Kiffin's system that always puts up a number, or Kiffin's system where he's no longer there with the returning starting quarterback? So I would think that Kiffin / Charlie Weiss have an impact on the game itself during the game. Like Mike said, there's no reason that such a successful, productive system that they're going to change anything, and they're going to mimic it as much as they can. Game day management is a different story. The other thing is Sarkisian he's passing friendly. I mean, he's a former quarterback, and he is the Georgia thing. The Georgia thing, I would eliminate them immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a coach who wants to just air it out. All right. Their schedule is so weak. There's going to be a lot of times where they're handing off and getting out of there as well. And Kirby's always going to have a power running game component of his with his teams anyway. I would think it's Levitt, Chambliss, or Sarkisian as sort of Manning as sort of the three favorites to me. Either one of them, I would not be surprised if any of those win that battle or win that prop. So take the longest shot. So take the longest price if they're all. There's the value with Chambliss. I agree with Mike as well. As far as Alabama's concerned, it's probably going to be Russell. They are convinced, and people have reported, and former players that's gone in there. What were they were more of a finesse team. They lost their level of physicality. They swear with their new offensive line coach they are going to be more productive running the ball, and they're going to be more committed running the ball. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if Keelan Russell will have the number of attempts that a Manning or a Levitt or a Chambliss will. So, and Ole Miss may lean on Chambliss a little bit more and get away from their run. The running game was so good last year, but they got Lacey back. But it'll be interesting. We were talking about that last drive. They burned over 5 minutes of clock, and LSU never got the ball back, and they had timeouts remaining as well. So I think as far as his prop is concerned, I think all three of them I would not be, but that's the only three. Leach is gone now, for Mississippi State. Who else?
The only other one would be Tennessee.
Heupel, new quarterback. Yeah, There's also a quarterback system there. They're not quite as.
No, I mean the only other one I can think of.
If he had a Hooker coming back, but who has put up those kind of numbers since Hooker? In his system. So it's been, even Aguilar last year was considered to be a save. He came in last minute, but under normal circumstances, maybe even the previous, but not this year with their new quarterback.
Let me ask you about the Charlie Weiss Jr. factor, and I'm going to give you a couple of numbers here to chew on. Weiss came in after the second year that Kiffin was at Ole Miss. In the first 3 years, so Kiffin's first 2 years without him and in his first year with him, Ole Miss was first, second, and first in the conference in total rushing. The last 3 years, fifth, and sixth. The passing numbers went up significantly, and the quarterbacks went from sort of in that third, fourth range to the last 2 years they led the conference in passing. Okay, so they're throwing the ball more onto Weiss than they did when Kiffin was there without Weiss.
Keep in mind, Charlie, they're also a better team. Their overall team talent is better than when he first got there.
And with that, I almost would have thought they would have run the ball more. If you'd asked me before I looked up the statistic, you said, well, you're a better team. You got the lead more. You're running the ball more. You're controlling the clock more. I would have guessed that the rushing numbers would have gone up. They didn't. They went down, but the overall offensive numbers were fantastic. So the Weiss factor in this.
Yeah, and it looks like that Kiffin's very comfortable. I'm not sure their exact relationship, but very comfortable with Weiss. And then what helped
joined at the hip.
And what helped Weiss a lot too was he was still calling the plays when Ole Miss was winning those playoff games in the playoffs.
Yes, he was.
So he's really brought himself out more to the forefront now. Kind of, I'm not going to say got away from Kiffin's shadow, but he's more of establishing himself as a big time coach.
There's reports we're getting from practice that have more access than us that he is, kind of one of the noticeable things is how much Weiss is kind of running the offense in practice, and Kiffin is more specializing. Again, that could be smaller sample sizes as well. It might be that one or two particular days, but more involved with the receivers. So it's it's Kiffin, but Kiffin obviously entrusted him, and Charlie he passed on the first offer. They had to sweeten the pot to get him here. So
Ole Miss was coming strong to try to keep him,
and allowed him to finish over there. The playoff, and I mean he could have been doing some productive work over here at the time. So no, he obviously wanted him to be part of his.
Wouldn't surprise me if he's a head coach next year this time somewhere.
Is that right?
Yeah, I agree.
Blake Baker too. If LSU is the type of year they want, both of those guys are going to be on a lot of short lists at the end of the year.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds of Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marion Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Live at the original Walk-Ons live at lunch 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Mr. Odd. How about yourself?
I just keep worrying about you because when your team gets brought up, I mean everybody, the love. The Cowboys, how about them boys? Dak's going to lead the league in passing, and the defense. And Caleb Downs is already a coach on the field in his rookie training. I mean, I'm just waiting. Don't be like Charlie Brown and try and kick that football when it lifts it up from you and you fall on your backside. I mean,
where'd you get this monologue from? Wait a minute. Is Charlie there?
I wrote it. I wrote it.
Charlie wrote it. He's the writer.
What about the Saints and these debilitating injuries during the preseason?
It's a real concern, and the Cowboys and Saints are working out together. This week with all of these fights. That didn't help matters any.
They did
Steiner
present.
Brother there. What was that? One of the Steiner brothers actually suited up and started giving suplexes and power slams.
He was our designated goon. Impressive. We're trying to ruin your season.
Well, we put it right next to our Week 2 Super Bowl trophy from years ago. We won the fight. Okay, Saints won the fight. There's no doubt about that. So we put that plaque in a trophy case right next to our 2-week Super Bowl from a couple of years ago. Boy, you were not happy with our text that day when we were rubbing it in on the Cowboys, huh?
Hey, that was all right, though. I mean, when you suffer a blowout of that magnitude, what do you expect? I mean, give me a break. That was just ridiculous.
That was the last before the free fall with Derek Carr. So what you gonna do? But
whatever happened to him looking to come back?
He's coaching at UCLA. Is it UCLA, Mike? Yeah. So he's coaching now at UCLA. I don't know if he's a volunteer assistant or whatever it is, but he is. Don't expect him to have his number or jersey retired in the Saints Ring of Honor in the Superdome. So I would say that's probably not going to happen.
No. Yeah.
And I won on the Super Bowl. I won an autographed Derek Carr Saints jersey, which the value of that has not been very. I think most Pokemon cards are doing better than that.
He's not making that up. I was sitting 2 feet away from him when he won that jersey. He wore it the rest of the day.
I wore it the rest of the night. We were skinning him at the blackjack table. I was like, this is the luckiest thing I've ever had.
Wait, is it more valuable if it was a Las Vegas Raiders jersey?
He did participate in a playoff game there. He led them to a game-winning field goal attempt drive when San Diego would not oblige and take the tie. So
Right.
he where they could both get in the playoffs. But our buddy Mr. Carlson knocked it down, knocked it through the pipes to get that win. But anyway.
As a good luck jersey, it was kind of like Derek Carr, the player. It started out okay. It looked all right. You thought you might have something, and then the whole thing went to hell.
Yes. Are you back? But there's a shelf life on it.
Yes.
I knew that jersey, so it's a shelf.
Short shelf life. Yeah.
Yes, but it's hanging in my closet. It's hanging in my closet. I might wear it soon, for another
You don't have
day.
it framed? It wasn't even framed when you won it. Jeez.
No, we're not framing it. No, I'm wearing it. It's a jersey.
They should have had it framed.
If I go to a Saints game, I'll wear it. Jeez, that's asking for trouble. That's like wearing purple and gold to Oxford on the third Saturday in September this year. But anyway, are you done counting all the money since you come back from Del Mar with the carnage that was for the NFL preseason week 1 last week, where all 8 line moves of 1.5 or more got busted up?
Yeah, it's tough. I always say that. You have to pay attention with this preseason, and the guys suiting up, the injuries, all that. But now I'm counting the days till the regular season starts, and until the college football regular season starts. You know how the preseason is. You're not going to get the handle that you get on those regular season games, but still, it definitely helps out when you have all these line moves going against the public, and it just becomes scary when some of these guys get hurt in the preseason, and then you don't know who's actually going to suit up. You got 4th, 5th stringers, and it's hard to handicap. It isn't all just about quarterbacks, wide receivers, and that rotation, but it goes a lot deeper, and definitely a lot of people scratching their heads. And you start it right off tonight where Raiders opened up at Caesars Sports -1.5, and now the Texans are sitting at 1. So you're looking at another big line move, and we're going to see how this one plays out. Texans, lost a wide receiver yesterday. We're going to see how Mendoza does in his second suit up, and we'll go from there with the Raiders. But, losing to Arizona isn't a positive sign. I don't care if it's the preseason or regular season.
Oh, come on, Kaluch. It doesn't matter. I mean, what was the Cowboys' first championship? They went to. It was in Pasadena. They beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Was it Pasadena?
Yeah.
And they, they had it was kind of closed. No, the second was kind of closed. This was the Leon Lett one in Pasadena.
Yeah.
What was the Cowboys' preseason record that year?
Preseason, I don't think they won a game, but that's
really, you remember?
Yeah, but that's a totally different scenario when you're dealing with a juggernaut team that's just not playing anybody, and Jimmy Johnson, who's a mastermind coach, that's not going to reveal absolutely anything, whether it's preseason or regular season. You are talking about the future of the franchise, and getting him acclimated and losing to Arizona is not a positive sign. I'm sorry. This is a team that's currently at Caesars Sports and the resort at Summerlin. 3.5 is the win total. So they already got 1 win in the preseason, and I know you guys don't think it means anything, but Raiders need to at least show some positive signs going into this regular season. They're in a division where they're picked to be last. We all know that. And it has to improve, but looking at that game, there weren't many positive signs.
Are you still betting them, though, in preseason out in Vegas, huh?
Well, no. Now we have we opened the game at 1.5 Raiders, and now we have Houston at 1. So You're getting some action on the futures market, but not on this game tonight. And this is now another game on ESPN where we're going to see how they play out and how Mendoza plays out. And if Cousins is going to play a few series, we'll see how that works out as well.
Do you know the lyrics to Fernando by ABBA? He's getting more play. Okay, all right. I mean, I'm just trying to, there was something in the air that night. The stars were bright. Fernando, come on, Kaluch.
I don't know any of that. I thought you were singing a Beatles song.
No. We look, it's pretty popular in Bloomington. I mean, he is going to get extended time tonight. That's what the coach says. So,
well, we'll see. And obviously, the public is betting against it. So they're not feeling very positive that he's going to light it up. So
you don't think he looked pretty good? Dwayne, you don't think he looked pretty good last week?
It's okay. I mean, he looked all right. I didn't see all of the film because I was in Del Mar, but seeing a loss isn't a positive sign, in my opinion.
How was Del Mar? You were there for 2 weeks, huh? Or 2
Yeah,
weekends?
it was fabulous. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I tell you, I bailed out on each of those Sundays, and last Sunday was just fabulous. You know, I had Arantes in that last race. I had him singled on the pick 5, singled on my pick 6, and, the horse just exploded and crushed. And, Sweet as Becca ran well for Richie Baltus. I had the single on the front end of the pick 6. So, we did pretty well out there on the last day, and, just plugging away. There's still many cards left, and including today, where I'm starting to handicap now. I don't have anything yet for you guys, but it's been good. Del Mar's been a lot better than Saratoga for my bankroll.
I saw that you responded to me posting on social media when my son's 21st birthday. You said that, hey, bring him to Vegas. So is it okay if I drop off him and his friends with Uncle Dwayne, Uncle Colucci, to go show him around town, huh? What would the itinerary include, Dwayne?
Well, those guys, we're off the beaten trail. You know that. We're out here in Summerlin. I'm sure your son on a 21st birthday, you want to experience the Strip, the clubs, all that going on. Definitely the day clubs, the pool scene. It's just, it's really happening here. The guitar is starting to go up where the Mirage used to be, almost completed. And, we're looking forward to a big football season and a lot of partying, great restaurants, and you just go from there. 21-year-old could have a lot of fun out here. You know that. It definitely is easy to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, he'll have to get his dad off the smoke machine in the club. So, but, always make friends with the smoke machine engineer. He's always.
Well, your cigar smoke could blend in with the smoke machine. So that's good. I know you love those Cohibas and Monte Cristos. So.
Do you have any horses for us today?
No, I just started to look at Del Mar, I'll be honest with you. But I do like, hold on, I got one for you. The Baltus horse in the last race. Let me plug it in here. I'm just looking. Hold on. Last race, I'll have the name and the number in 2 seconds. Here we go. Number 6, Suntory Time. That is in the 8th race. Joel Rosario, Richard Baltus, 7-2 morning line. Get him home.
All right. The race 8, the 6 horse?
Right, at Del Mar. Yes, you got it.
6
so
horse.
You got to wait a little while, especially on the East Coast. You guys don't fall asleep on me. We're going to cash some tickets here without a doubt.
All right, Dwayne, we appreciate it. Give us one more. What's the biggest line movements this week in the NFL preseason before we let you go?
Let me pull it up right here. Let's see. Well, like I said, we're getting a lot of action on this Raider game, I'll be honest with you. Also, we had a flip-flop on the Charger game. The Charger game opened 1.5 Chargers. Now we're sitting at Caesar Sports at 49 is 1.5. So, that's a very, very big move. You had the Steelers that opened up at -3. Now the Jets, that's right, the Jets are -1.5. So, that's a definite big move if you're keeping your eye on that. Next game in line as well, 407, 408 on the rotation. Jacksonville opened up 3.5, some places 4. Now Carolina 1.5. So a lot of big movement on those Thursday and Friday games, and definitely you're going to see a lot of big movement on the Saturday games as well.
Follow Dwayne on Twitter at NYBookie Dwayne. We're almost there. We're almost there for the for our regular season. We'll be there just a little bit. Thank you, Dwayne. We appreciate it.
Love you guys. Definitely say hi to everybody in fabulous Baton Rouge.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. If your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine, give my friends a call at Relief Windows, 288-8138. The windows, again, vinyl windows, storm impact windows, wood windows. We do doors, siding, shutters, and shades as well. And the wood windows, again, man, comes with a lifetime guarantee to against rot and termites. And again, the gel wind, our last wood that's treated all the way to the core. You won't need to worry about replacing your windows for a very, very long time. It's real easy, man. These things are not cheap, so do it right the first time. And call Relief Windows, where they stand behind their product with their guarantee. 288-8138 and ReliefWindows.com.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Returning here at Walk-Ons Fantasy Football Drafts. If you got them coming up, get in here to Walk-Ons. They're going to treat you right. You can do it on the outside patio area. You can take reserve the private room. Lots of goodies along with your fantasy football drafts here.
Yeah, doing a bundle package, too, with, wings, a couple of things to draft beer. And also they got the boards, Charlie, to your biggest pet peeve for your fantasy football drafts.
I'll take. He's hurt. Oh, well, I don't want him.
No, he's already picked. No, his name is gone. So they got the stickers for all of the draftable players for your fantasy football draft. Everybody gets their own board.
I was thinking about the last time preseason made a big impact on me and thinking what a team could do. And Jimmy, you brought up the 90s and it's just ancient history, and this is a long way back too. But back in the Saints Super Bowl season, they were really good in the preseason, and Breeze played compared to what they play a lot. Almost a half in the first 3 preseason games, and the Saints won all of those games really handily. And the other teams were playing their starters too. I was looking up some of the stats.
Is that right?
They played the Raiders, who were terrible. It was one of the DeMarcus years. Russell played, but he was a starter most of the game. They played the Texans. They blew them out. That was one of the Matt Schaub was their starting quarterback. They played the Bengals. Carson Palmer played a lot in that game, and the Saints blew them all out. Now everybody sat for the last game, so throw that one out. But the first 3, when they were playing starters like a half, that's
the Super Bowl championship.
That was a Super Bowl year, yeah. And so that was the last. I was like, wait, they may be really good, and it worked out. Mike, Debbie Downer, reminded me that the year the Detroit Lions went 0-16 and set an NFL record, they were 4-0. They were 4-0 in the preseason.
I was going to tell you
there have been some other.
I was going to say that when you were talking to Colucci, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure, but I thought they were 4-0.
And they did. It was in 2000, the year before that, ironically. But now,
who was the coach then? Was it Campbell? Was the coach? Huh?
Who was 2008?
Who was the coach?
No, it was not
16 year.
It was not Campbell. No.
Who won?
It might have been the guy from New England. Patricia, maybe. No.
Rod Marinelli.
Okay.
That was the year they fired Matt Millen as the GM. Right, maybe a month into the season.
Yeah.
He had taken the 3 wide receivers in a row. 2 of them busted, and one of them went to the Hall of Fame.
When was Campbell's first year?
Campbell, the COVID year, I think.
And they lost like their first 10 or something like that.
They had a bad year, but they weren't that. They were competitive a little bit.
He was up for the Chargers job and didn't get it. His first year with Detroit was in 2021, the year after the
3-13.
year. Yeah. They
Well-
weren't.
Well, now it looks like what they're doing is that these joint practices are so much
They're the
a bigger
preseason
thing
games.
now.
Yeah.
Because you still get the contact, but nobody goes to the ground as far as the linemen. Like what happened to Kamara the other day was he was standing and a tight end got knocked down and rolled into him. Kind of a fluke little deal.
Yeah.
So they're doing these joint practices, and that's where all the starters are playing. And then so they got another one today with the Rams. And then Saturday, I'm sure we'll see no starters. And then there'll be no joint practices next week. That I don't think so. And then they'll finish up at Dallas.
Yeah.
And probably no starters again.
And the joint practices are nothing new. Holding virtually everybody out of the preseason games is a little bit new. I mean, joint practice has been going on fair. I mean, when the Saints were training in lacrosse, they played in the Cheese League. They would scrimmage, joint workouts, Vikings, Bears, Packers, Chiefs. They all trained together.
We had joint practices, and I'm even before that.
Okay, yeah. So
they
used to play. They called it the Cheese League. They'd all play in the preseason. So that's nothing new. The idea of scripting everything to the practices so you get as many red zones as you need, as many 1st and 10s as you need, as many whatever, short yardage in the middle of the field, whatever. You script all that stuff. You do it all, and then you don't have to worry about whether those situations come up in a game. So it helps you.
I remember the Lions because it knocked me out of Survivor. It was Week 10, Game 9 for the Lions. They tied the Steelers at Heinz Field that year.
That's a loss, dog.
Ties or lose
Yeah.
in Survivor, but they lost their first 8, tied their 9th game, and they were 0-10-1 before beating the Vikings. They won 3 of their last 6. Remember how they were just kind of they were still competing, and they were covering, some games. It was a lot. So that year, but and then of course they won their last game against the Packers, which is a meaningless one, but 37-30. But yeah, they started out 10-1 that year.
You know what knocks most people out of Survivor? When the really bad team scores an upset. The one that you never see coming.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously the first.
Especially
on the road.
Yeah.
Sure. I was just kind of mapping out my strategy for this, and it's like, okay, how many times are you going to go against the Cardinals, Dolphins, and Raiders?
I was in Natchez, and I'm like, are you really going to tie? Are they really going to tie? And I knew damn well what the rule was.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's happened to everybody. You go scrambling around for the rule. What's the rule?
No.
I'm talking about when we first started playing.
Yeah.
It's like, wait. Is this the rule? Yes, this is the rule.
It might have been the first year I was in a circus Survivor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they'll fix you up real quick. We got 2.
Max is going to he's going to lounge singing school while we're in Vegas next week.
Okay.
He's trying to parlay this game show host gig into a lounge singing gig. Oh, he's just giving up. I'm telling you, he's still got a shot at a weatherman. I mean, he's kind of giving up on it.
If he takes over when Drew Carey gives up the prices right, man, that's a plum gig. That is a good job to have, man. You work about 2 days a month. You give away a bunch of money, and, you're on TV. It's their worst gigs. Hour number 2 straight ahead here at Walk-Ons, the original Burbank and Nicholson, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at the original Walk-Ons live at lunch. We are just a little over 2 weeks away from LSU's season opener, and you can imagine the electricity in the air here at Walk-Ons before that first game against Clemson, the first game of the Lane Kiffin era, the return trip from Clemson last year. Jimmy, I'm looking forward to that day, just 2 weeks from Saturday here at
yes, we are.
Just
it's kind of this is probably the weakest opening week that I can remember. You'd usually have a couple of good ones on Sunday night and Monday night, which LSU has been a part of both of those. And then you'd have, like last year, at least sort of a double or triple header of your highlighted games. But I mean, according to one poll, you've got your only ranked matchup is Clemson LSU. In the other poll, it's Ole Miss and Louisville. We'll let the Ole Miss and LSU fans give them something extra to fight about. So that'd be nice. But it's just
no.
I mean, the Signetti blueprint is there. It's like
those days are over.
I mean, it just why take unnecessary risk? And the only ones that are mandated to play a Power 4 non-conference game is the SEC. So, and I'm still kind of funny. There's some people talk about schedules, but I mean the schedules have been a big part of it. When you talk about Penn State, who plays, Charlie, your preseason or your JV schedule, and then they don't play Oregon, Ohio State, or Indiana. I mean, so that's getting a lot of run. Notre Dame's schedule is getting a lot of run. Phil Steele. His schedule rankings. There isn't one Power 4 team schedule that he has ranked below Notre Dame. So it's just some of that is some of their teams are they've been better than what they are, but I mean they've kind of handpicked this thing to what it is, and so if
and 2 of the schools that really bucked that trend of the layup opener have changed philosophies. One of them is here. LSU,
Alabama.
And Alabama's the other one.
Yeah.
They played named programs. Now, they were better than all of them. They played USC. They played Michigan. They played Florida State. I mean, they played named
Clemson when they were number 6.
Yes, that's right.
Was the
Clemson
first
when
one.
They were number 6. So now you look at they're opening with East Carolina. Well,
the Monday night game was usually really, a really good one. I mean, even Ole Miss played Florida State one year. In Orlando.
In Orlando.
So we've seen Ole Miss play Texas Tech. I was on the bus. We were driving.
In Houston?
No, Yeah, because we were in Arlington.
Yeah.
It was the LSU Miami game,
Right.
but we were on our way to the hotel, and we're watching on the phone, watching Ole Miss and Texas Tech. There's Power 4 teams, so in both fringe top 25 teams at that time. So it's a really, really weak schedule. You have a lot of rent-a-wins to begin with, but they always gave us a little something. I've seen Georgia Clemson have played in the past on this opening week. They played when we were out in LSU
Vegas,
USC, but they also played a home-and-home 10, 15 years ago when LSU was playing a Washington or something. They played
Think about
Wisconsin home and home. They played, so –
Think about it with Notre Dame not being in a conference, and all these other schools taking this, you call it the Indiana philosophy or whatever, not scheduling. Who's going to play who's Notre Dame's going to play?
Notre Dame can schedule themselves into the playoffs at this point.
I mean, who are they going to play? If nobody wants to go out of conference and play a real tough team,
who's
Notre Dame going to play?
When they shifted to playing six of their games in the ACC, when they don't have when COVID year, they said, okay, you're eligible for the conference championship game, so they played a full schedule, but it's just all over the place. They dictate, and the ACC was kind of a weak sign to me at that point. They've gotten weaker. Maybe they would have been on their way to be weakening anyway. But to let them dictate it like that, so when they shifted, okay, we're going to keep Michigan State and Purdue, but we're going to drop USC and Michigan. Well, it's written all over. Now Miami is stronger than what they've been, much, and so they have to play them again this year. Clemson's not. Clemson is considerably weaker than what they've been. So
why is USC going to keep wanting to play Notre Dame?
They are redoing it.
They are?
So they've agreed to start. Is they starting next year, Charlie?
No, it's not starting until 30.
Okay,
but
they did agree to bring it back.
They moved it up to the beginning of the season, which was a sticking point on the old contract. As long as the playoff stays at 12, and as long as the committee is not going to reward strength of schedule in a manner in which these big schools feel like is appropriate, and Texas, Ohio State is the poster child right now, then the scheduling philosophy is not going to change. My question to you guys is
it's not going to stay at 12 for long.
Okay, so if
16 or 24, if 20, whatever, it's going up.
We are in agreement, I think, that there's probably not 24 teams that deserve to be in the college football playoff every year, but if they went to 24, you might see a return to some of the scheduling for these games out of hoping to fill your stadium. Jimmy, what do you think Alabama's going to draw
how long
for
will the
East Carolina?
SEC maintain their mandate?
Well, I thought that when they went to 16 teams, the mandate was going to go away. I was wrong. The bottom half of the league really that voting block was like, no. The Kentuckys and Mississippi States of the world were like, no, we want to be able to make a bowl game, and they kept it anyway. So I was surprised at that. What do you think Alabama's going to draw in the stadium for the opener against East Carolina next week? It'll be full at the open.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, there's the intrigue. Everybody's right. No. That's why.
Halftime.
That's why I've always said that if you're going to have a couple of rent-a-wins or 3 rent-a-wins, put one on your opening day.
Right, because everybody's going to come out.
Yeah, everybody's coming out regardless. They might be half empty. It's going to be half empty at halftime, but they're still going to come.
So the incentive, if there's a 2014 playoff eventually for Alabama, LSU, et cetera, to schedule somebody tough, is that, hey, you know what? They'll fill the stadium and they'll stay. Is that enough to change scheduling philosophies? They probably have to see how a 24-team selection committee works it. But last year, to me, was the real striking blow against games like this. Texas went up to Ohio State, opening game. They lost in what was a competitive game.
They probably outplayed them a little bit.
And it kept them out of the playoff.
Yeah.
Because if they play North Texas and they win, they're in the playoff. So
Rice.
Anybody, anybody that they can beat. So this is right now. I don't know how many more of these games you're going to see.
And how many times has playing a tough schedule helped a team? Did it get LSU in 2007?
Yes, it did.
It did. I think it I mean, it was so competitive. They had to leap so many teams. But, and it helped that Virginia Tech on that crazy Saturday in Atlanta that they took care of business in their ACC championship game because it was a conference champion. And the ACC was not on SEC level, but they were more respected at that time. And LSU couldn't have beat them any worse.
Let me ask another question. If the schedule gets so watered down.
We didn't even mention Virginia Tech they opened up with.
In 02, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a quality. That's a ranked matchup. We only have one of those. We don't have any if you depending on the polls.
They lost that game on special teams, won 6 in a row, and looked every bit the part of a championship contender when Mark hurt his foot in 2002. If this continues, and I know there would be significant pushback from the coaches, but just from their television partners to say, you're just giving us nothing but the dregs in the first week. Would they start scheduling select conference games in week 1? I know the coaches would be against it, but if your TV partner who's paying you all this money comes in and says, give us something.
Every athletic department's looking for more money. Everybody's looking at you got to pay the players. Everybody's looking for it. You come strong enough, they may.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
and you know what the argument will be? It's the same. It's the same for both teams. Is the argument?
What do you mean?
Well, like Charlie said, they don't want to play these big competitive conference games in week 1. You don't get to prepare as much.
But it's more of a risk and reward. You're not rewarded as much as the risk. Okay, if you're talking about two teams that have a shot to make the playoff, it could cost. That game could cost. I mean, it's a conference game, I guess, but Notre Dame, Miami. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I mean, it just
no. He's talking about.
I understand playing them first, Charles. I mean, Mike, but that mandate. They're looking for creative ways. You're talking about an SEC Big Ten challenge. I would love that. Are you going to be able to do that on short notice? Do you have to, or are you going to have to predetermine before? Does Purdue get Vanderbilt? Or does Illinois get Kentucky and LSU is forced to play Ohio State or Oregon? I don't know, but it's going to have to, if the money's right. I mean, if it takes a big chunk of your payroll, let's go.
What was the year that LSU played Alabama in the opener? 81. One of the strangest feelings I've ever had.
And we're talking about a totally different era.
A completely different era. So, but it has, in a couple of years after that, they opened a season with Florida. Now, they were only playing 6 conference games back then, so you're right. It's completely different.
Opened a season with Florida? I don't remember. I remember the Alabama. I was at the Alabama game. Florida, what year was that?
1984. They opened in Gainesville. They opened
with Florida State, I remember.
That was in 83. They opened with
no. Arnsparger's first game.
Tied them.
Yeah.
That was the season opener.
He killed Magic Wand after that. Yeah.
How many field goals did he miss?
Well, he tried a 50-yarder at that time. It was low percentage.
That was
but he duck snorted it so bad.
Yeah.
Uncle Bill killed him where he was all SEC kicker. He's never the same.
So it's not like it's never happened in the past, but it's been a long time ago since you opened up with those.
That was a.
Could you imagine if Alabama was coming here for the season opener?
No, I mean, but LSU was like almost 10-point underdogs in that game. That was yes.
Well, they were coming off the season where they were winless in the conference. 83 was the first year that they were ever winless in the conference.
But you could see already they were using him. Dalton, running swing passes and stuff like that. There were just so much more button. I mean, you could see immediate improvement. That was a well-played game by LSU that day. And I said, they had a long field goal to win it.
And that was on that turf ball. I remember just like the heat was unreal off that Gainesville turf.
I've been in that stadium, and those dirtbags in Gainesville, we were so hot. We're leaving the stadium. I mean, hot. It was at the turf, and they had a kid on slip and slides. The man, let me slip and slide, please. His mama charged me $1.
$1?
Let me a dirtbag.
You're dealing twice the price.
Oh, no, I'll get somebody on the phone right now.
$1?
Whatever you want to bet. No, yes. No. Yes.
Oh, we're brought to you by the Thibodeau store, the Pierre Part store, open in La Rose and Lockport. Tailgating time. Jimmy's going on a field trip
Saturday
on Saturday.
Field trip, baby. Saturday morning. Here I come. We're going to Pierre Part Store.
You got a list? You going just?
It's in progress. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
yes. I got some gadgets, and I'm just going to check out and see what they have as far as grilling items and things like that. Need a new wire brush. Need some new mittens. A new load of Big Egg. I look at the Big Egg. Also their accessories. I got a bunch of those. So. And just get some kind of prep stuff, Charlie, where I like to prep, whether it's marinating or toss in some lightly flash-fried items and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm getting everything from a squeegee to, you name it. A little bit of everything. Trimmers, I got got to get a new hose, got to get a new extensive electrical cord. I got to get a cord to wrap it up as well. So I got my list, but it's in progress, man. Don't rush me.
If you need tailgating accessories, go to the Thibodeau store. TheThibodeauStore.com will get you to all 4 properties from the same website. Same-day pickup on everything on the site. Delivery available on a number of items. Make it your one stop before you head out for tailgating this season at ThibodeauStore.com. Randy McKay with us next. We continue our NFL previews live at lunch from the original Walk-Ons, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Uh-oh, they let the big dog out.
Boom! Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
And return here at the original Walk-Ons Burbank at Nicholson.
All right, big dog Randy McKay with us. Couldn't be with us on a Wednesday, so he's here with us on a Thursday. Let's look at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, man, boy, they had a heck of a defense last year, but had some quarterback issues and may have played. Oh gosh, with Brosmer, that might have been as bad of a backup quarterback that I've seen. So, some really still a good record. They finished third in the division behind Chicago and Green Bay. Their win total this year is 50-50, right at it, 8.5 wins to win the division, plus 510. NFC North is tough. Those 6 games will be tough. The AFC East and the NFC South are 8 of the remaining 11 games, and we know what Randy thinks of the NFC South, AFC East. I think, Randy, you put them in middle to lower part as well. But the Minnesota Vikings, what are we thinking about when we're talking about the Vikings this year?
Yeah, I think we found the team of value here, one of the teams of value. Of course, when I was on with Charlie when you were gone, I said New Orleans looks like a team of value, too, to take them for the division. And I believe this one is, too, at getting that $5 price there as well and over the season win total. They won 9 games last year with that quarterback crew that was probably one of the worst in the league, even though Carson Wentz played well till he got injured, and that's a tribute to the coaching staff here. And unfortunately, their offensive line got banged up last year. They're ranked number 12 coming into this year, but they can avoid the injuries here. That offense should hopefully shine. Rebirth here of Kyler Murray. He has to just play average, and he does that, usually early in the season, then he kind of fades out like he did with Arizona and later in the season, but he might not here, with a decent run game. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, they lost some pieces there in defense. Their front 7 is still, I still got them ranked, number 18 or so, and they lose Bernard, Hargrove, and Allen, but you got to believe in the coaching staff here. You got Flores, you got O'Connell. Last 2 seasons, they're 18-4 in 1-score games. So I think the sky is high for this team. I see them right there with Detroit for the division, and I see Green Bay and Chicago falling off. So there's one play on and one play against spot that we can talk about later. But I see some great value here on Skull Nation.
Where would you? Here's the thing. It can be tricky sometimes saying, okay, it's a given. And I'll draw an example. What I'm talking about as far as the defense was so good with such poor quarterback play in offensive. But a lot of the opposing offenses that the Vikings defense faced were a little bit more conservative and not willing to take as many risks. in fear of that. Maybe that's the only way this team can score on us. And, it's okay to play a little bit more field position oriented football. I'll talk about the Jets and when their defense was so good. And then when they made their offense, improved their offense, teams that defense wasn't the same when defenses were. Opposing offenses were more aggressive. How much of that you take into consideration here, Randy?
Oh yeah, you got to take into consideration the matchup, and that's pretty smart coaching by the other staff too. Saying, hey, this offense can't beat us. Let's don't let our offense give up a bad turnover or a pick six or something. And that's a good move as well. So you always got to factor that in. But as far as the schedule, you said they get the first 5 games there. It looks like they could come out. Maybe a 4-1 hopefully before the bye, but then they get a little tougher games after the bye here. So they got to make hay right away, and then they get a nice spot to get a bye before they play these tougher teams.
Randy, where do you have O'Connell on your coaching rankings?
Yeah, he's right up there by the top 10. And he just hasn't made the leap yet to make him into the top 5. Of course, with the Rams coach here, McVay and Shanahan and Andy Reid and Sean Payton and some of those. So, there's a lot of coaches that are right around that top 10 area that, you trust to make the right decision. A couple years ago when he could have won the division early, he didn't go for it against Detroit on a 4th down. And I don't know if that was 2 or 3 years ago, he punted. And I really questioned it, like a 4th and 4 even in his own territory. And I said, don't punt it to them. They're going to come down, score, and win the game. And that's what happened. But other than that, he usually makes the right coaching move.
We don't get into this too much, but Flores as a coordinator, though, he's got to be pretty high on your list.
Yeah, he's probably one of the top coordinators, him and like Spagnuolo and some of them, really good. Of course, all the offensive coordinators always get hired, so there isn't really a standout offensive coordinator right now. But the 2 defensive coordinators you got to look at are, him and Spagnuolo, and probably what's a guy for Philadelphia. He's been around forever. He wasn't a very good head coach. I can't think of his name, but he's kind of a funny old guy. But them 3 are probably the 3 best ones.
Randy, where do you have Kyler Murray? And his disappointments in Arizona are well documented, but this is the best skill position group I think that he's ever had. It's certainly the best quarterback coach he's ever had, and he's in a contract year. They're still paying him in Arizona for this year. He's only 29 years old. If there's a career second act, it starts here. He's never going to get another, I don't think, situation as good as this one. Where do you have him going into the year?
Yeah, we've seen him play like, you're used to be, sometimes at the beginning there, you're scared if he had the ball late in the game because you knew he was going to lead his team down, score on you. So you had to be a little scared, and hopefully he comes back to that. He just kind of regressed a little bit, and so did that whole Arizona team. So I'm hoping here with the good coaching staff and the better offensive weapons that, they just need him to play average football and not make a dumb turnover, and every once in a while complete a long pass, because them wide receivers he's got, it's going to get open, and then hopefully, like I said before, the offensive line gives them the time and doesn't get injured this year.
Mike, former New Orleans Saint Michael Delicano with us today too. Can Kyler Murray be Sam Darnold was with a couple of years minus the last 2 games, at the end?
Probably not. He still doesn't make the routine plays that you have to make as far as the way the play is set up, plant your foot, and let the ball go, the simple plays. And what happens is some of these quarterbacks start having success with when they run around and bide extra time, and the receivers can break open later, and they end up relying on that too much, and they get away from just the easy plays. So if he can get back to just being more disciplined, this will be something to watch with Caleb Williams also. Just run the basic easy plays, and he can move forward. But I don't think he can have quite the success Sam Darnold had. No.
What are you thinking, Randy?
Yeah, just with the coaching staff there, I'm just trusting him with Kevin O'Connell. Sam Darnold wasn't as good as Kyler Murray was coming in, and he turned him around. So I'm
True.
hoping Kyler Murray turns around and they got a good chance here to plus $5 is a great price for this team to win the division.
The only thing, though, and we're fair, you're thorough, but I would say that Murray's supporting cast was a little bit better than Darnold had pre-Viking appearance.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and he had McCaffrey one year, but other than that, he never had a really good wide receiver. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, McCaffrey with Carolina as well. So the 510 is the plus 510 is a real shot. I know we talked about the Bears, but man, there's so much positivity, and I don't know, but man, this Johnson it just seems like there's some good things happening in Chicago. And look, they pulled some games out last year. There's no doubt about that. They blew a bunch of games, but good coaching can kind of flip those from time to time. You don't think Williams will take that next step, or you just still think their offensive line is not where it needs to be, or was the close wins will sort of even out this year?
Yeah, both things. Their offensive line is rated real low, along with the Packers. They're in the 25th range, and also their defenses, both Packers and Green Bay. In fact, Chicago just had one of their good safeties get hurt as well, which is real weak in the defensive backfield to start out. So, I mean, they're going to have a lot of shootout games if they want to win, and that's going to lead if they're lucky again in close games, and if they're opportunistic on turnovers. So, and the tougher schedule, makes me not like Chicago as much this year, and Green Bay as well.
What spots in the schedule are you eyeing down that you like to back the Vikings and fade them?
Well, right away, first week they play Green Bay, and Green Bay, Minnesota won 5 straight games then last season, and Green Bay lost 6 or 7 at the end of last season. So we're getting two teams going the opposite direction here, and the games in the Metrodome there, and you could, it always favors the Vikings, especially against this Packers team. So right away is a play on spot here for Minnesota. The play against spot is a Monday night, November 9th against Buffalo, and it's a bad scheduling spot for Minnesota because they had it at Detroit the week before, and then they got Green Bay coming up in Green Bay the week after. So a tough spot there, even though they're at home against Buffalo. I'm not super high on the Buffalo Bills, but you always got a talented offense there with Josh Allen company, but that could be a very tough spot on the sandwich there.
All right, so over 8.5 division consideration, Minnesota against Green Bay in the opener. We're going to remember that, huh? We're going to remember that for Football Sunday. And then Minnesota, again, sandwiched in 2 trips to Detroit and Green Bay. And those are 3 consecutive weeks. There's no bye involved in those first 3 Sundays. With the November 1st, then Monday the 9th is the sandwich spot, then Sunday the 15th. Anything else we missed on talking about the Vikings?
Yeah, plus money to make the playoffs as well, because they could definitely, if they don't win the division, I'm reading it like a plus 150 to make the playoffs, and you can always take 3-2 on your money is always a good thing. It's like hitting a 5 or 9 on the crap table.
What is it? What is their schedule ranking compared to the rest of the league?
Well, their schedule ranking is about average. It's not the toughest. It's not the most difficult like it was last year. They had one of the most difficult schedules, so they cut a little break here and they get a little rest in between. So some of the tougher schedules are out there as well, but they don't. They're right in the middle, kind of all the NFC. The Detroit has the easiest because they finished in the worst spot last year, so they got the easiest schedule, which makes them the favorite in the division by most people.
Very good. Follow Randy on Twitter at RR39, at RR39. Big Dog, we appreciate it. Great stuff. We'll continue our previews next Wednesday in your regular slot at 11:30. Good luck to you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
All right, so Randy McKay checking in on a Thursday appearance. We got gave us a lot to kind of chew on and follow up with that in just a second. Remind everybody that our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at the corner of Burbank and Bluebonnet. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Heath Meyer, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, Prentice Wilkes, United Community Bank member, FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Oh, over here at Walk-Ons again, getting ready for football season. Like you said, a little over 2 weeks and 2 days till Clemson comes to town here in Tiger State. Should be, I know we talk about opening up with, might be the smart thing to do, but it is going to be, there's a lot of anticipation. Should be a tough start for a guy making his first road start in a hostile environment for the Clemson quarterback. You know, Randy McKay touched on so many things. He kind of likes the Vikings a little bit, and I would think that even with a little bit of a dip with their defense, because opposing offenses will be more aggressive, that's okay. Mike would talk about this. You talk about me with the cornerbacks, but Flores and what he does, I mean, his blitz percentage is usually at the top. If it doesn't lead the league, it's way up there. That puts a lot of pressure on your cornerbacks. But man, he's such a good defensive coordinator. We could talk about that whole odd situation where they had nothing to work with as far as a roster in Miami, but he was competing too hard, I guess. But Charlie, start with you on the Murray thing, and just will a change of scenery do him well? Hopefully, it matures him. I don't know. He can only go up as far as his professional approach to playing in preparation and playing a position, but still he does so little in the rhythm of the passing game, and I just don't know. But a guy like O'Connell, a quarterback whisperer, I'm interested to see. It's all fine and good right now. It's a honeymoon period, but I'm a little curious how that's going to be expedited.
It'll be real easy for GMs in the offseason to evaluate Kyler Murray, because this is as good of a situation as a quarterback could hope to, in his situation, could hope to get into. There is a good running game, a two-pronged running game. It's not the best in the league, but it's very good. As far as top three receivers, Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and they added Jawan Jennings. The top two aren't better than CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, but if you go top three, the Vikings are very, very high up the list. T.J. Hawkinson is still a very good tight end. You've got a quarterback whisperer as your coach. He's 29 years old, and this is the last big payday if he doesn't perform here. If he can't get it done with this group, with these receivers, with this coach, at 29 years old, where all of the young, mistakes that you make, or the lack of focus and the film and all that stuff, if that hasn't clicked in by the time you're 29 and you get this coach and this supporting cast, then nobody's going to sign him to any contract of any significance in the offseason. But if he does pull a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield, and he comes in and he shows, listen, all of that stuff's in the past. I'm dedicated to the position. I can still get it done. He's only 29 years old. So there is a career second act for him if he has a big year. Maybe not in Minnesota. Maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know. But if he can't get it done with this group, then okay, then that's it. He's a journeyman the rest of his career and just kind of a plug and play when you're looking for a bridge quarterback guy.
It'll be interesting to see the way they start, because this is a franchise right now that has a cloud hanging over its head, and the cloud's called Sam Darnold. I mean, this is a monumental mistake. Franchises don't usually get away with making mistakes like this. And it seems like they've already turned on JJ. I mean, you don't hear any. I didn't hear any when they named Kyler Murray the starting quarterback. I didn't hear any, well, we still believe in J.J. He's got a good future in front of him. I didn't hear any of that.
No, he's a man without a country.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Why
that
is
looks.
that?
Huh?
Why is that?
It looks like there's something they don't like about him. I don't know.
If
I don't know what it
if
is.
you draft a guy number one and he misses the whole first year, and then the second year you give him the job, he doesn't play well. He got crossways with the
we're
coach.
talking about McCarthy. I thought you
yeah.
were talking about Justin Jefferson.
No.
Okay, no. Okay, okay. The JJ.
I'm not a big nickname user.
JJ you threw me off. I mean, jeez.
No, Justin Jefferson's just fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But if McCarthy, they've already moved on from.
Yeah, they
him.
don't. They don't.
They don't. Yeah.
There's some inside information on it. It's pretty obvious now.
Yeah.
Because man, they gave up on him quick, and they top 10 pick, and and look, when he works out, it's again, it's not playing a position when you're not, but he's kind of got the measurables. He's got size. He's got athleticism. He can make all the throws, but we know that he was not the best preparation program, at Michigan, especially that approach with Harbaugh. But damn it, I mean, to give up on a guy that, he's got more measurables than Kyler Murray.
So the start of them is going to be the way they start.
Yeah, he's a foot taller, Charlie.
But that's it.
Oh, that's kind of important.
Well, he doesn't. I don't think he's got a better arm than Kyler Murray. He's certainly not a better athlete than Kyler Murray. He may be eyelash more accurate than Kyler Murray. He's taller. Yeah. I don't know past that he's got much on Murray.
Kyler Murray has a good arm.
And Murray's been in the league for 7 years.
You telling me Kyler Murray's measurables and J.J. McCarthy's measurables and who the same? What you think? Who is not going to be more attractive to an NFL team?
You're just talking about.
I think it's Kyler Murray.
Oh, okay. We disagree.
I did.
Well, let's move on. No, let's move on. Come on. This guy doesn't throw anything from the pocket. How can you do anything?
Jimmy, the Vikings just had to pick between them, and they picked Murray.
They don't like McCarthy.
So why would somebody else? If somebody else that doesn't know him, they know him better than anybody.
Before Murray's baggage and before McCarthy's presumed baggage, when you got these guys coming out, you want a guy that's just going to run around and make sandlot football? And, yeah, he can run, but there's no sustainable success. What running first quarterbacks have had a lot of success in the NFL?
They have not. Arizona never turned him into the passer that they wanted him to be. No argument there. But when you're just saying measurables give you a better chance. J.J. McCarthy never did anything for me. I thought he was an average college quarterback.
6'4", could make all the throws, got good athleticism. No, he's not Kyler Murray, athlete, and very few are, but
he's one of those guys that looks good in the lab, but never makes a lot of plays.
That's what I'm saying.
But
measurables. But you're talking about what we can measure.
And I don't know that his arm is stronger than Murray's.
No, I'm not saying it's stronger, but he can see the field better. Drew Brees is the outlier. That's not the norm. Short quarterbacks in the NFL. We just talked about Aller all last year. Well, Jimmy didn't like his measurables. Why? Because he's big, he's strong, he's tall.
Would I rather have a taller quarterback? Yes, absolutely. I just don't think McCarthy's
What's
any good.
What's interesting about both of them is that they're both.
We're talking measurables again.
They're both probably inaccurate.
And
both of them.
See that, and that's what I'm saying.
Them, yeah.
Measurables. Yes, he's got the height. I think Murray's got a better arm than him actually.
He might.
And he's
highly rated baseball player.
And he's a better athlete. So. And he's a playmaker, okay? He's not a traditional playmaker, but he's a playmaker.
And so back to Mike's thoughts. You argue with Mike on this. Can he make the routine throws?
Well, he needs to make more. He needs to make more of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
And the Cardinals,
how many starts does he have?
The Cardinals, right. The Cardinals let him slide on that. And then the Cardinals did not do what the Ravens in Philadelphia did. They did not change their offense to actually accommodate a running quarterback because they didn't need to. He had a good arm, Kyler Murray, and they thought he could be a Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels runs the normal offense. Jaden Daniels makes the easy throws. Jaden Daniels gets the ball out of his hands quick. Murray doesn't do that, and we'll see now with McCarthy if he does it. I mean, not with McCarthy, with O'Connell as the coach. We'll see if they can change him a little bit. We'll see that.
Yeah, he's flawed up and down. I mean, there's no doubt. So here's your cushy spot with a good coach and a good offense.
What happened, Charlie? You had Deshaun Watson get that contract. Okay, that set the whole market for quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Then you had all these teams that drafted these guys, and they're coming up for renewal, and, your Daniel Jones with the Giants, your Trevor Lawrence, your
Tua,
your Kyler Murray, and you got to decide if you're going to keep them and pay them or let them go, and they decided to keep them. And besides maybe Lawrence last year, none of the other ones really moved forward. Daniel Jones did better when he got somewhere else, but that's what happened with Kyler Murray. They drafted him first. Do we admit we make a mistake? And they
stuck with him for 87 starts.
They stuck with him, and they should have been. Yeah, they should have been more disciplined with him.
I would think, the guy wouldn't even. They have a tracer on. They know exactly how much he's looking at his playbook. He's not even opening it up. And, they stuck with him. My money would be on McCarthy if he had 77 more starts. He'd probably be a little bit further along than Kyler Murray is right now.
Well, Minnesota doesn't like McCarthy. I don't know why.
No.
I just know that they don't.
So you think they're really ready to admit that mistake with Darnold because he won a Super Bowl? Or was that – he had a pretty good supporting cast as well. And Darnold made some clutch plays when he had to, when the game was on the line, in the conference championship game specifically. And – the big one was the game that decided probably the Super Bowl champion was that Thursday night game. He led them down to a game-winning score and two-point conversion as well.
And Minnesota thinks they would have been the playoffs last year if they would have had Darnold.
Well, there's probably 40 quarterbacks, 50 maybe, that they would have gotten to the playoffs.
Well, but
I agree with that.
Yeah, but Darnold was with them. They're the ones that didn't let him go.
No, if Darnold's with him,
they let him go.
They're going to the playoffs.
Darnold already knew the system. Probably be better in year two, and they just let him go. It's protecting their franchise.
Technically, we know, and he did a great thing. But technically, he lost one playoff game. He lost two, because that Lions game was a playoff game. It decided either 1 seed or you're the 5 seed, 5 or 6 or whatever it was. And he couldn't have played much worse in those games. Murray's had one, they were. They just. What were they going to do? Were they going to give him a big contract, or are they going to?
I'm just using this as this franchise is really. It kind of threw them for a loop, and they're kind of just. They're not sure what Franchises, you can see what they know what they're doing, they know what they want to do, and you can see what they're trying to accomplish. Minnesota's lost that. They're not sure what they want to do.
Is that defense as good?
They got a good
if they were scoring more points last year, and opposing offense was forced to be more aggressive against them.
Yeah, it's just one group feeds off the other. You got to play the whole game. So maybe Flores would start taking more chances with the defense because he didn't believe as much in his offense last year. You can't really go back and say, what would you have done? What should you have done? Because the game is the game, what's going on. And, I'm not sure what the defense is thinking about the offense. But they do go together.
I think the last question would be, Jimmy, if they offered you a Kyler Murray jersey in exchange for your Derek Carr jersey, would you make the swap?
You have to think about it probably.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And I'll give you a choice. You can have an Arizona one or a Minnesota one. You pick.
I just don't think it's just connecting the dots. I think it's going to be a little bit more, and we'll see. But look, Paul Bovey, who's a regular contributor to our show as well, Macero's good buddy, he's high on Minnesota. He's made some big plays on him to win the division, and others like Randy.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At the BMW Championship, Gary Woodland out with the lead. He is 6 under through 15, 3-shot lead over Justin Thomas, MJM, and Rio Hustastane. Woodland's round includes a hole out from 97 yards for Eagle at the beginning of the back, 11, at number 11. Sam Burns overcame an early double bogey to get back to even at the turn. And our consensus pick yesterday, Jake Knapp, just underway. He is through 4 holes at 1 under par. Scotty Scheffler, the big bad wolf, at 130, teeing off today in the BMW Championship.
I don't agree with going with the without markets this week. To your point, Max, and you said one of the criticisms of the playoff format was that Scheffler advances no matter what. But, and you said it's unlike, well, what other sport does not the winner advance one round?
No, but he's advanced 2 rounds. He's playing in the Tour Championship regardless of how he plays.
No, he's in this one, the top 50, but I mean, he's going to advance one more than everybody else.
No, but the point is,
what Max is saying is he didn't have to play this, and he still would have.
He could finish in last place, and he will be in the same position next week regardless.
But nobody won a playoff game but him last week.
True.
So he advances another round.
He can play in the wild card. He won the wild card round. Now he goes to the divisional, and he could throw up an absolute stinker.
But nobody else won wild card.
But, Max, this is a whole different.
You're advancing one more round than everybody else.
Well, my example, Rory, in the first round, did terrible, and he's going to go to the Tour Championship regardless. So why does he even bother showing up?
Because he is as a record, because his earnings over the course of the season.
Correct. Correct. But the problem
some of the division winners get buys and wild cards don't.
Yeah, but he's going all the way to the NFC Championship game or the title game. I mean, he's in the top 30 regardless. So that's the flaw with the playoffs is there's no real push or pull.
Rory's a better example than Scheffler. Scheffler, that's a good win last week.
But the point is, before he would clinch starting strokes where he'd be leading, he'd have an advantage when it gets to the title.
That's not good. I like this better.
It means it makes the tournament more exciting, the Tour Championship, but it makes the regular season and stuff like all that jockeying for position.
But isn't there because Scheffler's in there regardless that he might be more prone to exhale this weekend?
Sure, that was kind of my point. Is like what other than another tournament with a big check, what is he really playing for this week?
JT holds in 2 of them today. One from just off the fringe, and one. So he's at 2 under right now.
3 under. He's
3 under
in the clubhouse at 3 under par. Interesting. He's always played PGA Championships well. He's got 2 of them to his name, and this course hosted the PGA in 2018. So a similar type of setup.
And he's won the FedEx Cup before.
What's your game show questions?
No.
You don't have anything prepared?
We can do transfer quarterbacks.
Colin Murray at game shows. This guy,
transfer college football.
Have
players.
you opened up your game show your game show notebook, huh? Your playbook?
Next week I'll have former professionals in college sports ready for you.
Former professionals in college.
Since apparently they can just play whenever. Come on back. Come on down. Where are you playing now?
If you hate it now, you'll hate it more Monday as well. Come see us tomorrow at Ruffino's tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. over at Ruffino's, of course, open for lunch. Here from the original Walk-Ons, this has been Live at Lunch on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.